Mail everybody. Sorry about that earlier. Mail everybody. I'm Cantonese Cat. Hey everybody, Cantonese Cat here. I'm just gonna do a quick live stream. I had to come back in and because I wasn't sure if you guys can hear me or not. If you can, please let me know that you can. But I haven't really charted. I just came back home. Want to do about 20-30 minutes worth of live stream. Gonna go for a few stocks here real quick. QuantumScape. This is one of the stocks that I do own. Monthly is looking better, just like over here earlier, back in July 2023. It was trying to reclaim the tank in the blue line over here. This is the Ichimoku cloud on a monthly chart. The cloud hasn't really quite formed yet, but you can see that right now we're re-challenging the tank in here again. There are quite a few things that are looking a lot better when it comes to QuantumScape, but we are at resistance. If you look at the weekly chart, you can tell that we are right at resistance right here, unfortunately. It's just got rejected by the bottom of the daily Ichimoku, the weekly Ichimoku cloud. And a lot of different stocks are looking very, very similar. Even like those crappy, like money losing stocks are doing like very, very similar things. Like RIVN is trying to get to the bottom of the cloud. Lucid is trying to get to the bottom of the cloud. A lot of these, bullish divergences are really playing out. But the problem is a lot of them are also building up a lot of bearish divergences here as well. Like Lucid is building up a huge bearish divergence. We're going to probably get rejected here at the cloud. RIVN is building a big, giant, bearish divergence here. And QuantumScape also has a little bit of a bearish divergence. So I doubt we're going to push through here the first time. If we do, if the price keeps going up on bearish divergence, I'll be very, very, very happy. But I still think that this is a good move. This is something that is required to have some change in the technicals, but most likely this is still a little bit overextended. Looking at the weekly Bollinger Band is still a little bit overextended still, right? I'm not selling out of here because my cost average is in the sixes. I'm probably going to end up staying in there. But yeah, this is kind of one of the stocks that I'm kind of watching. I've had a lot of people that ask me about this other like SoundHound stock that I personally don't own, but apparently it's like the hot stuff out there right now. I charted this actually quite a while back, and I was charting this. I think it was probably about like a month and a half ago. I made this GAN here, if you will, and the price was just kind of right smack in the middle of everything, right? I thought the price is either going to go down or it's going to try and challenge some of the targets up here. It did end up coming down here, and it did end up challenging some of these, arc and angles over here. But right now, it looks like it bounced from that very, very strongly. The Bollinger Band on the weekly is not really that far extended, so I don't think we actually are that far overextended. I actually think that we might have some room to kind of go here if it decides to do so. And yeah, on the Ichimoku cloud, it basically re-challenged the Tenkan Nikijin and closed above both of those. I'm not really seeing a whole heck of a lot of bearish divergence. If I look at the whale indicator, it looks like the whales are coming back in, kind of like how it was over here. So SoundHound actually looks pretty decent in terms of potential bullish continuation moving forward. A lot of people are asking me about some of the stocks here. I just talked about CIFR not long ago. I don't really have anything new to say about CIFR because it just looks like it's been challenging this 5.5 level here for quite some time. It looks like it's just becoming quicker and quicker, and eventually I think this 5.5 is going to break through. And when it breaks through, it's going to be pretty powerful. Right now it has like a very, very nice ascending triangle. These are generally pretty nice things to have. If you also just look at the volume, I think we're starting to build a little bit more volume, trying to break through, but we're just having a hard time doing so still. I do think that we're probably going to end up breaking through pretty soon. A big part of the reason why is because I think it's getting pretty close to the end of this arc and the end of this arc, as well as the horizontal zone. There's a lot of confluence over here in terms of support zone. So it's probably going to end up pushing up higher from here is probably my best guess. And that's probably going to happen in the next few weeks to like 2 months maybe, right? That's my best guess. But overall, this is still a bull trend. Like there's nothing for me to not like about this chart. If you just kind of look at the like Ichimoku, everything is above the the weekly Ichimoku. Right now we're a little bit range bound between the baseline and the conversion line, but the whales are in. I'm not really that concerned about this chart. Um, yeah, I still have a position. I'm not going to add anymore. Same thing with Mara. Mara actually closed pretty decent this week. It closed on top of the weekly um, Ichimoku cloud. It's expected to form a very nice, hammer candle with very nice demand wick over here, wick underneath into the cloud, as well as backtest the conversion line, the blue line over here. Whales are in, like so far you have like around 65% whales, so it still looks like a pretty decent chart. I like it. I think it's probably going to end up continue to bounce, but you're going to have some resistance around like the 22 to 24 zone. The reason why I say that is because I got rid of my GAN and got rid of my Fibonacci level. Sorry. So a very important Fibonacci level is around $22, which is why it kind of been getting rejected over and over again for almost, like 7 or 8 weeks now. So I think that right now we're at a spot where we're bouncing from the cloud and it looks like we have some Welsh momentum. I think most likely the next move is going to be up. It's been going sideways for long enough. So I'm still pretty bullish. I made a lot of posts on X, how basically saying like how I think this might be a leverage play for IWM. It might even be a better play than like TNA, which is the triple leverage IWM or small, Russell 2000 small cap. I think that is very sensitive to the same level of liquidity. And so far we have a lot of breakout from the IWM, so I think it's probably going to do pretty decent. I since I'm on the path of miners, I'm just going to go through the other couple miners here real quick. I show this chart on the weekly Ichimoku cloud. I showed this chart here yesterday. I was basically saying you have a support level right here at the conversion line around 10.2. It bounced pretty much right on the spot, and it's just very, very nice candle. It was not a bearish engulfing, which I was afraid of it being, but it turned out to have basically a lot of liquidity crap from a short report. They're probably trying to close their short. I don't know what they're trying to do. You did lose some Welsh momentum here from this week, but overall Wales are still pretty significantly in. The only problem with IREN is I think it's still at a lot of resistance, including the ARC, including this Fibonacci level here around like 0.5. I think we're just still trying to break above the resistance. It's still kind of range bound here a little bit. I can see this going on for a little bit longer. I would like it to hold at least inside the arc here, going down before going up. But I think we might have simply just kind of went a little bit way too far, way too fast. You look at the Bollinger Band, and get rid of the Ichimoku cloud here. It was a little bit way too far, way too fast, right? It was just way outside the upper Bollinger Band here on a weekly. And things just needed to cool down here a little bit, which is no big deal. But if you're asking me for like what are some of these support level if it ends up going down again, which I'm not actually sure if it's going to, but it ends up going down again, I think we just bounce over a very strong support level around 10.2. Underneath right here is around 9.65. And then you're going to have the rising bar support band underneath of that, like around 8.7, around like 7.6. Plenty of support here. Not to say that you need it, but right now you found some pretty decent support, and that's actually very, very encouraging to see. But we're still probably maybe a little bit range bound here for another few weeks before going up is probably my best guess, right? I am going to go through SOFI because I actually did see something that has came up that I actually thought was pretty interesting. Right. Well, first off, I like the Ichimoku cloud. You look at the weekly Ichimoku cloud is trying to reclaim the Tenkan, the blue line over here. It looks like so far we're able to close above the blue line over here, right? That's something that's promising. You also have a little slightly increase in whales so far this week. That's promising. But the most promising thing of SOFI, there are two promising things. One is you look at the RSI. There is something that has pretty important that has happened, which is there has been an RSI trend line that's been going on for quite some time. From this peak over here in December all the way down, right? We have a breakout of this RSI trend line. Even the price just kind of gone sideways. The momentum is starting to shift to more of the bullish side. So actually, because I see this like breakout over this week, I'm actually more hopeful that it's probably going to end up challenging like the $8 range over the next month or two or so. I mean, obviously, a lot of things are depending on earnings, but the thing about this, like this whole downward move, is really just been on declining volume. This is like very, very non-committal selling towards the end of it. Like the lower the price goes on low volume, the higher the reward I can see, compared to risk. So I actually think that this is a pretty decent setup, and I like this. I like this look over here. I keep on DCAing into SOFI. I have a lot of people basically are telling me, oh, it's going to go down to like $5. I mean, anything's possible, but if you look at you just don't use any fancy indicators. If you just look at the stock itself, it just looks like it's been ranging, right? We're at the lower end of the range on declining volume, right? And then on the upper part of the range is like right around here, right? So on the lower part of the range, I think if anything, we're kind of a little bit back testing this like trend line-ish thing kind of going on over here. And we're kind of maybe a little bit of a channel down, but we're just basically at the bottom of the range, and things are looking a little bit more bullish. Couple of other things too. On one more thing on SOFI is the unbalanced volume, and I mentioned this before too on a lot of the live stream that I did with the guys. I thought that the unbalanced volume has a very nice bullish divergence as price went down. We actually have a very nice increase in OBV, which just means that you've had a lot of secret buying pressure. If you also look, and this fits like the Fintel.io data. If you're looking at the Fintel.io data for SOFI, you can see that there's actually a lot of increase in buying behind the scenes. So I think it actually fits that pretty well if it ever loads up. Yeah, you can see that like this whole thing right here fits what I'm seeing here on the unbalanced volume with the bullish divergence, right? So I like SOFI where it's at, especially IWM goes up. I think SOFI could hit up to $8, but it's going to hit some pretty important resistance when it gets up to like around $8. And I still think that anything that's under $8 is probably going to be a pretty good deal. So I'm just going to keep on DCAing in it. I'm going to get back to some of the CRCRs. I don't know these tickers, so I'm just going to go through them real quick. What I do see up here is this still look like a downtrend, man. Like this is VALE still looks like a downtrend. It still looks like it is underneath the Ichimoku clouds, underneath the Tenkan, underneath the Kijin. So there's still a lot of resistance above, unfortunately. If you also look at the MCDX Plus to look at the whalish momentum, there is none, right? Like it's mostly retail on the weekly here. So I'm a little bit, not as bullish on it. And it still looks like the 20-week moving average is pointing down. Still looks like there's maybe some more room further down to go potentially, right? It has a little bit of a bear flag look to it. I hate trashing like stocks. If I don't find them to be bullish, I have to let you know. But like right now, you still see a lot of resistance above, right? Like around $12, around $12. There's a confluence around like over here with the baseline with and the bull market support band around $12. If you break about this resistance, you still have to fight the baseline. But there's a potential that things could take another like month or two to kind of flatten to go up to the Ichimoku cloud is kind of what I'm seeing. But I'm not too bullish on this chart over here. You talk about GDX. GDX is the gold miner ETF. Lots of whales, increasing liquidity conditions. You have basically price looking very, very bullish here on the weekly on the Ichimoku cloud. Looks like it just kind of back tested Tenkan over here. Looks like it wants to go higher. The whales are there, and we also look at the bull market support band. Looks like it just bounced on the bull market support band, right? So this is a bull trend with very, very nice whalish momentum going on, and there's basically increasing liquidity coming in. I think gold miners actually probably going to do pretty decent moving forward. Let me look at the EMA ribbon here. Yeah, you had a buy signal like about a couple months ago, and it's still active, right? If you also look at like a higher time frame, it actually also looked very, very nice. Like this looks like the beginning of a bull trend. You have a little bit of a higher high over here compared to here. So on the monthly, you also have a lot of whales too. So this is actually a pretty decent chart. Not that I really enjoy like gold or anything like that. If you ask me whether or not my TA is self-taught, yes. I basically just read what I can. I basically just watch a lot of videos. I also make friends, and I also learn a lot of things from them when I'm charting with them on live stream, on private, with like DMs, things like that. I learn a lot of things from Danny just over the last few months. He learned a lot of things from me. I learned a lot of things throughout the whole last couple of years. VKTX VKTX. Yeah, sorry, I'm gonna go probably around like 550, so I have another like 10 minutes to look at this. This just looked like a very beautiful bull flag over here on the monthly, and on the weekly, it looks yeah, you know, I bet if I pull up the I bet if I pull up the daily, yeah, I mean it's not the beautiful most beautiful thing, but you have like a breakout and back test on the RSI. That's what I'm seeing. It looks like this thing probably wants to go higher. It looks like Palantir where it was trying to close the gap, but it just couldn't. But you do have a lot of declining daily whales momentum being gone. But the weekly, if you look at a weekly, you still have plenty of whales being in. The whales are still greater than like 68%. And so far in the monthly, it does look more like a bull flag. On the weekly, it's got a little bit more trouble. Look, it looks like it broke down underneath this descending triangle. These descending triangles, a lot of times when you look at bull flags, you're like, this is a bull flag. But when you look at it, you're like, oh, actually, this bull flag looks like a descending triangle. Descending triangle actually leans a little bit bearish, and it broke down underneath of it, right? And so far, you had a little bit of a back test. I don't know. It looks like it's getting rejected. So I probably wouldn't buy at resistance. But if you're finding like some of the wicks down here, if you really do like the stock, this still looks like a lot of inside candles to this big giant candle over here. So overall trend is still bullish. I just if I'm doing like day trade, which I don't, I probably wouldn't buy here. But if you enjoy the overall stock, if you like the fundamentals, this is like down here probably be like a pretty decent entry. It's been declining on declining volume. I mean, like, and I also had like a little bit of daily RSI breakout. So I'm leaning a little bit more bullish because it's been mostly forming higher highs, and this is like a higher low. So overall, even though that there's a descending triangle breakdown, it is really trying to already attack it. It probably won't go for it the first trial, but it probably would take maybe a couple more tries. Either way, though, like it's still way above the Ichimoku cloud. Can go sideways for another few weeks and bounce from the cloud going up higher, maybe. Again, like none of this technical analysis is going to be for sure. None of these technical analysis is deterministic. They're all probabilistic, right? But so far, it looks still pretty decent on a higher time frame. A lower time frame, you might still have like some chop going on there for a while. Let's see. Oh, somebody asked about. You asked about AMC. I'm gonna have to show you GME. I'm gonna not give you what you want. Just real quick on GME, like on the Ichimoku cloud, there's always a risk for it to go down to like 20, right? But whales are in, and I don't always just look at the Ichimoku cloud. Sometimes I look at the Tsubiichi cloud, and you can see that it's really finding support. And it's really, so it really wants to bounce, and I think a big move could be coming soon. The reason being the daily bullish band. I've shown this on my video too. Like I've never seen it being that squeezed right here, except for when it was over here, right? So it's probably gonna end up having a pretty big move coming. I don't know when it's gonna be. It's gonna be another couple of days, another week or so. It's gonna squeeze like crazy. I don't know. I also like the fact that it's reclaiming the 20-day moving average, and it's also got like pretty decent whalish behavior coming in on the daily. If you ask about AMC, I'm a little bit more skeptical on the longer time frame because it's just an uglier chart when you look at the longer time frame, right? It just formed a lower low, and it has a big giant wick, a couple months ago. But because you're simply you're simply just basically a downtrend, and you got rejected here on the monthly Tenkan. What's important though, you're starting to have a little bit more whalish momentum. I don't think AMC is a good stock to hold long term, but I do think there's a potential if you're able to flip the monthly Tenkan from resistance to support, which is going to be around like 7.3 or something like that. If you're able to flip that from resistance to support, you could potentially bounce and go up a lot higher, and that would still be a lower high, right? I see a lot of resistance. You have a baseline over there. You have an Ichimoku cloud over here. You can still have a lot of resistance up here. But if you end up going from price from like $5 back breakthrough back test here around $7, and you're able to like get up to like a lot of these higher targets, that's nothing to sneeze at. You're talking about potential like from 5 to like I don't know, like 100 something if you end up having some crazy short squeeze, which I'm not sure if it's going to happen or not. But just one step at a time. You're still underneath resistance. You're starting to have a little bit more whalish momentum to come in. So I if I have to play this, I think GME might be the better play, but I'm not really gonna like get into them that much or anything like that. I do want to go through a couple more stocks here before I get off. I probably have another like minute or so. You want Tesla? I don't have much new. I made a Tesla video just yesterday, and I honestly don't have anything new for you. The whales are in. What can I say? So far, they are really, really tricking you with Tesla. This is probably going to be the last one I'm going to do before I go. I don't really care about the robotaxi or anything like that. Like they're delaying, the news, whatever. I don't care. Price got perfectly rejected at the top of the monthly Ichimoku cloud, which is a strong resistance. So basically, I don't really care what you say about news or not. The thing about Tesla too is that, I mean, whales are in. Like that's also a very, very important thing. And you also have like a huge volume for a few weeks. You have a huge volume breakout in a few weeks. Finally, it broke a ton of resistance to get up here. Finally, get to this bear market trend line over here that's been going on for like close to 3 years now. You closed the last week, you closed above of it. Everybody thought that this is it and it's just going to keep going higher. The answer is probably not, because it's like way outside of the upper Bollinger Band here on the weekly. Like it's just way outside. It went up higher to the 270s, got rejected by the monthly Ichimoku cloud, went back down. Where did it go? It went to the upper Bollinger Band here on the weekly, right? Where else did it go? Well, there's a lot of confluence over there. You look at the Ichimoku cloud. I'm gonna actually, it's not so much Ichimoku cloud. You look at the Super Ichi, I think is what it was, right? It got pretty close to the top of the Super Ichi cloud over here too. It got pretty close to the Tenkan over here too, right? So there's a lot of confluence over here, just bounced from that, which is not anything like surprising. On top of that, you also look at the Ichimoku. It's a little bit busy here. I'm going to turn on the Bollinger Band. Look at Ichimoku. It also bounced on the top of the Ichimoku cloud over here on the weekly, like 236, and it bounced. It closed right at the trend line. It's a big giant doji candle here that did nothing this whole week, right? Up and down, grabbing liquidity. Where do I think the next move is going to go? I think the next move, if that looks anything like it did down here, where it broke above the Ichimoku cloud, I think the next move is probably going to be maybe a little bit more consolidation around here for another few weeks before breaking out. But I do think that there's a change in behavior in terms of how this stock is behaving because of the whales, because of the increase in volume, because we're finally trying to attack this trend line here on increasing volume. I do not think that we're going to break through over here necessarily. You had a little bit of a false breakout, but they're going to play with us here a little bit. They're basically just grabbing liquidity up and down and just been playing with us. But that's okay. The Bollinger Band continues to expand here on the weekly. And we're just waiting for the Bollinger Band to continue to expand up before price goes up higher. This whole volume here means something. This whole range over here is going to be maybe a little bit of a range here for another few weeks before breaking out. I'm still very bullish on Tesla. I probably won't buy anymore because I've been buying really down here. I've been buying like down here. I stopped buying here. I've been buying over here, and I'm probably going to stop buying. I'm happy where I'm at. If I'm wrong, if it goes down, I keep buying again. But you're basically having a lot of support there, kind of raising up now. Bull market support band, upper Bollinger Band, Ichimoku cloud. You have a lot of support. They're pointing up. And if one fails, another one's going to point it up. If the other one fails, the other one's going to point up until you run out of support. Like, I don't think it's just going to flush all the way to like the 160s or, it's just not probabilistic. Anyway, gotta go make dinner. Have a good one, guys. Thank you for joining for this impromptu live stream. I've tried to do that if I have like 20, 30 minutes to spare. But thank you so much. Have a good one. Bye.